Hello everyone! We are going to repot one of my plants today. It's this little guy. As you can tell, he's definitely kind of outgrown his pot. And of course, we're going to be diving into, as you can see from the title, how to hack our emotions and actually live the life of our dreams and magnetize what we want to us instead of trying to go out and find it. Because little do we actually know, we have to do a lot less going out and finding things than we actually think. Now, is this light helping or is it making it worse? I wonder. Let's try to see what happens. Hello? Okay, that's way darker, right? Let me see if I can turn this light on. Over here. I don't know if that actually helped any. Okay. Yeah, I think the lighting's okay. You guys let me know if it's not. And we will get that fixed as soon as possible. Okay, what's up, Eric? So, I have been repotting a lot of plants recently. And you see a dog, Juno! Juno! Juno, come here! Juno! How's it going? There's Juno. Alright. Alright. Let's see. Alright, I think we should be good to go. Is the camera angle okay and everything? Okay. But yeah, I've been repotting a lot of plants recently and I was like, maybe there's someone who wants to see this. Maybe you also have some plants that you desperately need to repot, so maybe we could do that together. Okay, I hope that, it's kind of hard for me to see exactly what you guys are seeing over here, so if it's like too far away or the light is horrible or something, let me know and I will bring you guys closer. Okay, I need to get these out of the way. So I'm gonna go bring this one. This one is a dragon tree. Oh, you got mint in time yesterday. Yum. Oh my gosh, those are some of my favorites. This guy can actually grow to be a few feet tall. And so I repotted him because he was really outgrowing this pot. And this is the peace lily I got from my grandma's funeral a few years ago, and she is one of my faves. I love this peace lily. And of course, we've got a spiked lemonade. I don't know if you guys have tried this, but this is such a good brand. Apparently it's not backwards for you guys, as you guys said, so it's only backwards for me. So I'm happy about that. All right, grab your drinks, everyone. Okay. I'm gonna get this started before we jump into the topic. You guys know how my brain is, so we're gonna just do our very best, okay? All right, first I need to figure out, what type of soil we're gonna put for this this little guy. You can tell he desperately needs help. I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but his roots, he's like so heavy that his roots are getting like pulled out of the soil. And you want to see the pot that I plan to put this little guy in, so I, by the way, got this plant at my first farmer's market in Washington. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to my first farmer market, this is amazing. And I didn't even know the type of this plant at all. I just kind of used my intuition, which one wanted me, which plant wanted to come with me. And then I found out this plant is called meadow rue, which I thought is interesting because my first name means meadow. And I was like, what up? We're twins. How's it going? I guess I made the right choice. So, I am going to be putting this plant, imagine if I just like shattered this right now. Like super excited to show you and it just shatters. That would be super fun, but you know. Yeah, we got this nice cute little pot. I think it's gonna be great. Sorry if you guys are bouncing all around on the camera. I'm working on getting a better tripod, you know, and saving up for an actual camera. Okay, guys. So this plant likes to be really moist and likes a ton of nutrients. So I've got, I don't know if you guys could, oh no, you definitely can't see it over here. But I've got a whole ton of soil. I'm probably going to use some organic, just regular soil. I don't know if you guys have heard of worm castings, but it's basically worm poop, and it is like a compost. It's super, super nutritious for basically all plants, and it's kind of like, to me, the easiest compost to get because it works with any plant. Blending time? What do you mean? Is that something I say? But yeah, we're just gonna combine soil and just, you know, just say fuck it. That's exactly what we do here, okay? So I'm just going to put, I'm an intuitive gardener, okay? I do basic research on what the plant needs and all of that. I keep a little notebook. And then I just feel it all out. Okay, sorry, I have to come back. Is it time to blend or combine the soils? Okay, I'm sorry, Eric. My brain is not, yes, it's blending time. You're exactly right. I don't know how I got so confused. Yes, it's blending time. It's blending time, okay. This is like a volcanic rock type thing. It almost feels like styrofoam, and it's like super light. It kind of helps soil not be as dense and kind of helps it dry more quickly. All right, let me think for a second. Let me just look at everything and think about it. Okay, we'll put some of this into it. We'll put some peat moss in there, just a little bit. Okay, guys, now that we are getting started, I can concentrate on our topic today. This is something we talked about kind of last time as well. Now, we've heard a lot of shit about manifesting, what to do, what not to do, how many times to write in your journal a day in order to manifest the life of your dreams. I'm telling you, a lot of the shit you learn is noise regarding that entire topic. And you realize that kind of just after running into the same information over and over with whoever you learn from, philosophers, teachers, coaches, whatever. You kind of learn like, okay, this seems to be the consensus of how to do this thing, and then there's a lot of stuff that you kind of scrap and throw away. And based off, let's take a sip first, because I tend to crack open my drinks and cheers and then not take a sip. Why do I do that? Okay, cheers. Okay. But what we don't realize is we're always trying to get to the future, when every time we experience the future, it's in the now. But we so often put our focus away from the present moment, and I totally get that. I'm a chronic worrier, overthinker. I work on it every single day. I think this is the best place I've been in with it, but I have so much experience with being anxious and overthinking and having restless nights and like always trying to think of what to do, when really like who I'm being in the present moment is just full of panic and fear and not trusting myself. That's what all of that kind of reflects in the moment. And of course, life is stressful, tons of crazy shit happens. I totally get that, but how we kind of create that ideal reality is by being that version of us through the struggle, you know what I mean? Like the old version of me and the one I'm working to fully merge out of is like, instead of anything that creates uncertainty or anything that I can't predict, instead of it creating like this pit of anxiety in my stomach, be like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna plan? Blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I am so excited to see what happens next. Like, the most unpredictable stuff is happening all the time, and honestly, I just love the ride. Like, what if I could think and feel like that through like the craziest struggles that I experience, you know? And I think that's actually how we manifest, is by taking who we see us being in the future and the life we imagine us living in the future and literally bringing it into the now. You hear reality shifting, you know? Like, oh, we're gonna shift into our reality, we're like dimension jumping, bro, like this is so crazy. And it's like, that's not something you like wait for, and it's not something outside of you that creates that. It's actually your actions in the moment. If you guys have heard of, look at me not doing anything with the soil yet. This is what I mean. We think we can multitask, and I think I can multitask. I don't know if I can. I'm gonna do my best. Okay, I'm just going to pick up the bag and now continue talking and see where that gets me. Let's see if that creates anything out of this. Okay, and as you do, I lost that train of thought. Okay, it'll come back to me. I was meant to take a moment. If any of you can remind me, that would be wonderful. Let me see. Oh, no, I remember. Okay. Dr. Joe Dispenza said something that I really enjoy a lot. By the way, this is all-purpose soil, our first add-in. I'm going to do my best to narrate and keep up with the story and what I'm doing. Okay. Your personality creates your personal reality, is what he says, okay? And your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel. That's our personality. Our thought process, how we externalize or express that through our actions and how we live throughout the day, and how we feel on a normal basis. Like, think about the main 3 emotions you feel, like on a consistent basis, for example. That tells you a lot about yourself and kind of where you are currently in life, or maybe even deeper, how you're perceiving your reality. Our thoughts and our feelings and our actions tell us everything we need to know. Everything, I promise you. There's nothing about this process that is like going to keep you confused or feel like you need to search for something outside of you. Like, how to create the life of your dreams is like right in front of us through this personality we speak of, which we can change. We can change our thoughts, we can change our feelings, right? And we can change our behaviors. And what do we do with those? How do I change that? What do I change it to? Well, that's where you start to map out that ideal version of yourself. Like the baddest ass version of you that you can imagine. How do they live every single day? All right, I'm gonna pick up the second bag now. 5 minutes later, don't worry about me. All right, this is the worm poop, and it's basically like where it's like the basic, not the basic, the main nutrition in the soil, okay? And this also keeps it so the soil, like it doesn't stick together, it's very like sandy, if that makes sense. So it helps our girl make sure that, you know, the water can drain out and our plant's happy, because that's what we want, okay? Okay, I'm trying to put a lot in because this plant likes a lot. It says humus soil. I don't really know what that means, but I'm guessing that it means nutrient dense. So that's what it means for us right now. Okay, this is cactus soil. This is not what I wanted. Okay, hold on one moment. All right, we're good to go. And it gets to be fun. I feel like we think that we're, for me, if you're anything like me, I always think that everything's on a time limit. Like, oh my God, if I don't do this tomorrow in my business, like, then this is gonna happen. Or like, it's like, I feel like I need to live everything in the now, if that makes sense. Like all the plans you set out for your whole life or your whole future, do you ever feel like you just like have no time, you just need to accomplish everything in the now, and then you get overwhelmed because you have so many priorities and you don't know how to sort through them because they all seem important? Well, this is just what our brain allows us to think. I promise you it's way less complicated when you actually try to dissect what the brain's saying. It's very interesting. Our brain can make us feel like we are behind, we don't know enough, we aren't smart enough, we aren't experienced enough, like whatever it may be, and those are all kind of the same in some form or another. But we have all of these thoughts floating around, and when you actually put them down on paper and read through them, you're going to be super surprised. Because number one, a lot of them aren't going to make sense, and number two, what happens when you actually question that thought? Oh, I don't know enough to do this because of this. Says who? Have you ever said that to your brain? Have you ever said, says who? You'd be very surprised at what it says back, I promise you. It goes quiet. It doesn't know the answer because it's just throwing shit at you and seeing what sticks. I promise you, thoughts are conspiracies about the present and future moment based off what you've experienced so far. Like, if you experienced one traumatic situation with a friend, like a friend that betrayed you or something, for example, or maybe you lost like a job opportunity that like really created a lot of like stress and anxiety and fear. Like every time you run into another opportunity like that, what comes up? It comes all the shit that happened with that last experience you had. Oh, well, this person's going to be the same exact way as that last friend I have. People betray all the time. It's like based off your experience, your brain will tell you that everything you experience is factual on how it's going to be in the future. Oh, well, that person proved to me that people aren't trustworthy. Okay, well, that situation proved to me that my income is never safe, or that I am never as secure as I think I am. We are creating all of these thoughts that we allow ourselves to think so much, and you know what happens when you think a thought enough times and you attach an emotion to it? That's called a belief. So little do we know we're allowing our fears and our worries that have no basis in reality at all to create our beliefs. And what our beliefs do, they create more of those thoughts, they generate more of those thoughts. Every time a thought comes up that we emotionally connect to, what does that do to your physical body? You know what that does. And does that actually push you forward? Or does that cause you to like stay stuck in like fear and anxiety? You know what's interesting about fears and worries? It creates the exact situation we're scared of. That's what self-sabotage is. It's like we listen to these fears and these worries and anxieties so deeply that it actually causes that to happen. It actually causes us to feel stuck. It actually causes us. It's like if you meet someone you really, really like. You really like this person and you're like really stressed about it because you like feel really attached to this person and you don't want to lose them, but at the same time, you're very scared about what could happen because of your past experiences with friendships or relationships. And maybe this person reminds you of a past person that hurt you. So what's going on in your head the entire time? All of this fear, all of this worry that you're going to lose this person. So now what does your brain tell you to do? It tells you to overcompensate, right? And now it's telling you to attach even harder and to overcompensate and to totally act in a way that's not even truly who you are. Fear and worry causes us to be authentic because our actions aren't coming from a place of like expressing ourselves. It's coming from a place of trying to survive, if that makes sense. And people can feel that. Opportunities can feel that. Energy can feel that. Like, I promise you, like, if you can learn how to manage your mind and emotions in the present moment when you don't think you can, you will be unstoppable. Because guess the number one reason that causes people to stay stuck? They're scared to feel like a failure. They're scared to feel uncomfortable. They're scared to feel unsafe. We're scared of our feelings. We're scared of feeling things that we don't want to feel. That's what keeps us stuck. That's what the brain's scared of. Because we've created this world in our head where like it's not safe to feel this, right? And so then what happens? We perhaps get anxious about feeling anxious in the future. You know, it's like it just being in these energies just continue to amplify it. And if you are familiar with having a fear or worry, welcome. Welcome to the club. You'll notice it starts off as a little whisper. Just a little whisper. And you're like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm not going to listen to that, right? It doesn't go away. It starts to kind of play in the back of your head more and more throughout the day. All right, and this is Pete Moss. We are interrupting you to talk about the very next step. I am adding in Pete Moss to this soil, and it's going to help retain the moisture and drain the soil. Okay, anyway, just continuing. Yeah. I lost my thought for a moment. It's okay, don't worry. Don't worry, it'll come back. Oh, the soil feels really nice, actually. Okay. I can do this. Okay, well, I know what we were talking about, but I don't remember the exact sentence I was going on, so I do apologize for that. But we're scared to feel scary feelings because our reaction to feelings coming up, that's what tells the brain, oh, actually it's not safe to feel this. So now I'm going to try to protect you from this feeling by generating tons of thoughts around this thing to help you avoid it. Little does the brain know, it's creating more of that constantly. So what's the way to combat this? It's to welcome all of your feelings all the fucking time. How crazy is that? I know that feels uncomfortable, but I promise you, that is the way for them to move through you. That's how to be an open, clear vessel for the emotions that are buried under there that you actually want to feel. And now you have room to actually implement new emotions that you want to feel on a day-to-day basis, instead of us holding and attaching on to our fear. And I know it doesn't feel like that, like I know none of us want to attach to our fears or anxiety, but when we reject or deny or suppress or disown those feelings, it actually just creates this soundtrack, this loop of them because we're not able to fully integrate and express it. Now, here's how you feel a feeling. Just a few different ways. Depends how much information you want on this feeling. I have like a little feelings wheel which has all of the human feelings on it, all the human emotions, and your brain knows exactly what you're feeling even if you don't. Once you look at this feeling wheel and ask your brain to select like what emotions it's feeling, you're going to feel a very strong tie to one of those. Now, you don't need one of those wheels. That's only if you have a hard time like understanding your feelings. You can name it. Just name your feeling. I feel anxious about this situation, whatever it is. Say it out loud. Own it. Allow it. Like, speak it. Don't deny it. Because that's what causes these emotions to be stuck in the body. Like, name how you feel. Figure out the point or the area in your body where this emotion sits. For me, it's my belly. Like, as soon as I feel anxious or worry, I will feel a really strong feeling in my belly. And once you have named where it is, and what's the quality of it? Does it move around? Like, how does it affect you? Do you feel nauseous when you have this fear or worry? Like, does it give you a headache? Like, really think about how this thing affects you. Oh, by the way, that's the perlite. This is going to lighten up the soil. There's not very much in there, so I'm going to re-put like some more just basic soil in there to try to get as much as possible, and then I'll mix it up. But when you can own how you feel, it actually empowers you because you're choosing to feel it. It's not like something that's like invading your personal space now. It's something you're choosing to feel. It's something you want to feel. It's something that you're welcoming in. And you'll notice once you do that, once you name it, once you like really get clear on how it's affecting the physical body, then you totally surrender and breathe into it. Try to feel it as much as possible, like you were literally trying to search for that feeling. Like you wanted to feel that anxiety more than that anxiety wanted to come up. Like, try to think like that. I promise you, it's going to change everything. You will feel the feeling move through you without you having to do anything. It only took like openness and willingness and like being willing to see it. And once I started to do this, a lot of shit came up because I was so used to pushing it all down that once I was like, okay, I'm willing to feel what's ready to come up, the floodgates open. It's like, okay, like, how about fucking everything that you've ever felt ever? Like, like, I swear to God, it just tells me a lot about me, like how I was processing my thoughts and feelings and pain growing up. And it just became a challenge. It's like, okay, this is coming up again, like, here we go again. And it's not going to follow a schedule. Like, you make time to feel. And, when it comes up, just take a couple moments. Allow yourself to be seen. And don't judge yourself or criticize yourself for feeling anxious. Instead, you want to neutralize it, which is showing your brain that it's totally normal to feel anxiety, that we're totally not alone in feeling this anxiety, and what we're experiencing is a completely normal part of being a human, and we've made space for it. We've made space for it, we're going to love ourselves through it, and nothing's gone wrong. That's an important thing to know, is nothing has gone wrong. Nothing's gone wrong at all. Of course you feel anxious about not being able to predict the future. Everybody does. We just don't talk about it. That's what I mean by neutralizing, like how someone else comforts you and how it kind of helps you simmer down. You're learning to do that to yourself. That is neutralizing your emotions, is where you can talk yourself through it, you know? And again, like, the brain doesn't like to feel uncomfortable emotion, but I mean, by resisting and fearing it, you're creating much more of that than if you just allowed it to come in. Like, imagine this part of yourself like your inner child, this version of you that's 7 or 8 years old. Like, think about the how old you were when you really needed this version of yourself. Think about that. Like, oh my God. Like, how did you need to be talked to when you were younger, when you were going through something heavy? Were you judged? Were you, like, made to feel that it wasn't okay to feel your feelings? Guess what? You're carrying that into the now. Did you know that? Everything that you learned about processing your feelings and opening up and expressing yourself as a child, you are now that voice in your head. You've recreated that voice. So if that voice is critical of the emotions coming up, you probably didn't feel safe to express your emotions as a child. And so that's how you learn to hide how you're feeling, because it was safer that way. But now you'll notice, if you're in a safe space in your life, or if you make yourself a safe space, these things will come up, because guess what? You've created that space to allow them to. And they will. And guess what? It won't last forever. It feels like it, but I promise you it won't. You just have to be really good at parenting yourself through it. And again, you really don't have to do a lot. Like, you guys know that I used to have really horrible like flare-ups with my anxiety, and they'll still come back if I allow myself to go down the anxious loops that we can tend to go down. If you keep following those conspiracy thoughts that aren't even true, does it ever stop? No, it's a domino effect. It gets worse and worse and worse. You literally put yourself into complete panic. And when our bodies are in panic, we are in fight or flight. All of our major organs shut off, your digestion shuts off, you do not sleep well, your creativity is shut off. We are literally ruining our lives by staying in this cycle that's not even based off who you are, what's possible for you, what's gonna happen next. Like, it has nothing to do with you. Your brain has gotten hooked on these very specific scenarios in your life that were not processed in that moment, and that's the only reason why you have these thoughts playing that are attached to those experiences. Once you integrate the feelings from those experiences, guess what leaves with it? Those thoughts that were cultivated and created from those experiences in your life. Like, I promise you, allowing this shit to come up is the secret. I promise you. And you can see it as a game. It's gonna get easier. Like, you're going to be challenged to show up for yourself, but that's really all that you need to do. We're gonna put a little bit more potty mix in here. But the way to truly hack your emotions is by first, we gotta get out what's been stuck in our emotional body. Think of your physical body and your energetic body like a bottle. Like, there's only one way out, right? Like, the same way it came in from your experience, from your conscious mind, it has to also go out through your conscious mind as well. Just like you witness the experience coming in, you need to be able to hold space for it coming out as well. Think of it like that. Like, there's no way to just, unfortunately, I know, right? But guess what? Those are the most valuable experiences of your life, because without those, you would not be who you are at all. You would not have really any lessons or knowledge to share or to integrate to help you become a better person. Like, we think that, there's no purpose to a lot of the pain you've experienced, but I promise you, part of the, and we talked about this last time, the gap in the gain. It's finding the gain in all of your experiences. That's all you need to do. When we're in the gap, again, it's looking where you've never been and wondering why you're not there. You're looking in the future, you're comparing yourself, and you're just wondering why you're not there. Instead of the way that actually makes sense of measuring your success and looking at all you've actually done, your proof, your evidence that you can do it. And that is what creates that momentum. That's what creates that achievement. That's what creates that gratitude to carry you forward. If you're measuring your success off somewhere you've never been, how is that helpful? How does that help you get more clarity on what you need to do to move forward, right? So many of us are living in the gap. We're in gap thinking. But when we switch to gain thinking, it's finding the lesson or the gain in every single one of our experiences. That's what gain thinking is. And you might have heard people say, oh, they look, they find the silver lining in the situation, for example. What if finding that gain or that win in every single situation showed your brain that there was a lesson in that situation, and that allowed the experience to integrate? If your brain does not think that you learned anything from the situation, then your brain sees it as suffering. Then your brain sees it as a failure. If you show your brain why it was better that you went through that experience, you are not only going to feel grateful for that experience, and that experience is going to create momentum, but you are going to be able to integrate and move past that experience without having to repeat it every day, every month, every year, right? That's how we can not only feel our feelings, but integrate the experiences and actually apply what we learn from them, is pointing out the lesson to our brain. We need to be able to point out the lesson to our brain, because just like our brains are used to looking for evidence that shit's going wrong, we can train our brain to look for evidence that things are going right. Things are actually going a lot better than our brains are allowing us to see. All right, guys, we have our soil. I'm just going to mix this up and then empty this guy out. And then I'm going to top it with more compost and all of that, which is just the worm poop that we talked about. But I promise you, clarity on where you want to go, that ideal version of yourself. How can I be that person in the now? How can I think, act, and feel like that person? Clarity on where you're going, getting really good at feeling your feelings. So getting good at just witnessing what is coming up and what needs to be seen. Managing your thoughts, looking at your fears and worries that come up and actually writing them down. And you'll be so surprised, because when you write down your thoughts, your fears, your worries, whatever comes up, you're able to see it from an outsider perspective. And it really changes what you see, and it diffuses and neutralizes the energy in those fears and worries and thoughts. Because now you can address them one by one, right? So that's really going to help your brain, because now you can come up with a little solution for every single one of its worries or problems. If it's an actual worry or problem, you're going to realize that a lot of the things your brain worries about, it's just because it was seeing the opposite side of the coin. I promise you there's an equal high to every situation that our brain just doesn't see. And once we show our brain that, it's like, oh, okay, I just didn't know that. Like, just like we can feel an intense, uncomfortable, horrible feeling in an instant because we think something went wrong, it is possible to experience the opposite, a spontaneous feeling of just like gratitude, momentum, like creativity, inspiration. I'm telling you, this is normal. Like how we see panic attacks, anxiety attacks. What if I could tell you, you can have love attacks, gratitude attacks. Again, it's just by training your brain to see the opposite side of the coin. And again, it's going to be, you're like training a dog. That's how it is with your brain. You went your entire life thinking a specific way, right? You're learning a whole new skill. And this skill is definitely worth it, because it's going to change how you see every situation, how you feel in every situation, how you behave in every situation, and what you create out of every single situation. It's literally the best way to reality shift, because you're not avoiding. I think a lot of the thing is like, and I'm sure it's everywhere, but I notice it a lot in the spiritual community, is like, people are just trying to cover up some of the work they need to do. We're like, oh, the reason I'm feeling this is because it's the moon. And I believe that energy, everything's connected, but I think that we need to take our power back, because the reason why we feel so helpless is because we are putting our power outside of us. We're saying, oh, it's something I can't control. Everything just goes wrong during Mercury retrograde. It's like, okay, literally, you've created that though. Like, I could create the exact opposite belief and it would be true. I could say, watch. I guarantee you something really cool and unexpected happens every single Mercury retrograde. I don't know when, I don't know how, but it will happen. Like, what if I made that the fucking belief? Guess what? I would find evidence that that's true, because your subconscious mind loves to be right. Your subconscious mind loves to be right. And if you can tell it, oh, this is going to happen, or miracles are very normal for me, or this, and you actually give it stuff to look out for, you are going to experience a whole other world. Because your brain, that's all your brain is trying to do, is to help predict what's going to happen next and look for evidence. You can choose what evidence it looks for based on where your spotlight of awareness is, you know what I mean? And trust me, again, from being a chronic worrier and overthinker, you think of every possible scenario that could go wrong, right? That what if part of your brain that just is never ever ending. Well, what if it all works out? What about that what if? What does my brain have to say to that? What if it all works out? What if it works out better than I expected and all the time I spent just sitting in anxiety was just for absolutely nothing? What if that's the truth? Also, she's very loose. So I'm going to try to dig farther down. Also, I don't know if you guys saw, but it got caught in my nose ring, and there's I can feel a leaf stuck to my nose ring. But if I try to get it out now, it's just going to be I'm gonna put dirt all over my face, so I guess I'll just leave it there. But yeah, I hope that makes sense because, and I tell you, it diffuses it immediately. The moment I start worrying, and then as soon as I say, what if it actually, everything works out? That thought is enough to diffuse it. So that shows that it's not an actual fear. It must not be a super important fear if one simple thought like that dissolves the anxiety. It just shows me that my brain is fearing what it can't predict, which, think about how many people feel that way. Literally every person on the planet probably feels that way. That's just a very normal part of being human. And see, that's what we need to do, is show our brain there's nothing gone wrong. First of all, that's just a normal part of being human, but also we really don't want to be able to predict what happens next. We just want to know that we're safe. So if you can create safety no matter what, and you can address the actual worries that your brain is stressed out about, and have literally, my brain will be stressed about, I'm worried about the tiers on my Patreon or something stupid like that. Oh, I'm scared to call the IRS. I'm scared that this is gonna happen. It's stuff that doesn't even really matter. But it relieves a lot of energy in your brain if you come up with solutions, because it shows your brain you care. You're okay, no problem. I totally get that you're anxious to call the IRS. That's a very, normal thing. But to make you feel better, we're just gonna get it out of the way. So this day I will call the IRS, we'll get this figured out, and then we'll know that there's no reason to worry about it. You could do that too. It's finding a way to engage or address the biggest fears that your brain is presenting to you. This is also going to help your brain learn that it can trust you, that when there's an issue, it can just send you a thought. It doesn't need to put the whole body in fight or flight for you to listen. Once you start allowing your emotions to come up more freely, your intuition, I feel is also going to be a million times stronger, because you're so used to feeling your feelings. You got so good at feeling your feelings that now, not only can you more deeply feel all of the yummy good feelings that you want to feel, but you're more in touch with your intuition. You're more easily able to feel when something isn't meant for you. You don't need to overthink for days and days and days to make a decision. You trust yourself. All of this comes from feeling your feelings. Just no one knows how to fucking do it. And so I hope, alright, I'm just trying to, she's very wobbly still. So I'm just trying to pat her down. So that's all I'm doing right now. And we'll probably have to put the stakes back in. Should I put more in there? Bro, she's heavy as hell. Okay. Okay, this is fine. The lady told me this is gonna happen. It's all part of the plan, okay? Everything's good. I don't think it needs more worm poop. I put a lot. And it's all over. It's fine. Everything's fine. yeah, and again, like, I'm on this journey with you guys. Like, anything that I have learned from my experience, I definitely want to share what I've learned from it. Again, that helps us integrate the experiences and release them when we can reflect on how it was better that we actually went through that experience. And I think if we can do that with everything we go through, it's training your mind to find meaning in ways that we're not used to finding meaning. Like, and it shows your brain that there's a whole other world of perspectives that it doesn't see. I don't know if you guys like have ever experienced that anxiety where it's like that, like, literally feeling of impending doom. Like, it completely has like changed how you're perceiving reality, your thoughts, your emotions, your physical body. It all just feels just in complete panic. And I'm telling you, if you find the specific thoughts that work for you, like some of the ones I've shared with you today are some of my personal ones, immediately I feel a feeling of peace, relief, and like I'm happy and excited. It shows you that like our feelings are based off the thoughts that we were thinking. It has nothing to do with if you're actually safe or not. Like, I promise you, you are way safer than you believe. And it's our thoughts that make us feel like something's gone wrong. And then that creates a feeling in the body of like, oh shit, like something is actually going wrong. But guess what? Your subconscious mind will believe whatever you tell it. So again, if you start training it to see the gains, or if you start to create, like, what beliefs do you want to have? That miracles and fucking magic happens every single day and you constantly receive evidence of it? That everything you touch turns to gold in your life? Like, everything that you interact with was better off because it came in contact with you. Like, you can train your brain to live in the most magical, beautiful world. And of course you'll still have shit that we go through because we're all humans, but who you are being through it will feel different. It won't feel like it's something that's going to completely shake up your entire life and cause you to like lose everything. Like, you will know that you are the person that can handle it, and it's not a big deal. And then it won't be a big deal. Like, the thoughts that we allow ourselves to have about situations we go through create the experience we actually have. For example, fear. Did you know that fear is the same exact chemical makeup to the brain as excitement? And if you feel fear or anxiety and you tell yourself instead that you're excited, you'll all of a sudden feel excited? What the fuck? What? Once I figured this out, oh my god, because even though I've like been doing this work like online, I guess, for like 6 years-ish, 4, 5, 6 years, on YouTube and stuff, like I was so nervous to make YouTube videos when I first started. And then when I would do like interviews or talks with people, I was super nervous. Or anytime I had to get on Zoom, I was like, oh my god, I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified to talk to anybody. But I just started playing with the thoughts that I was having while I was feeling those feelings. And again, you want to allow yourself to do shit scared. Be scared to do a thing anyways, okay? But you can also see how shifting your thoughts changes how you actually approach the situation. Like, every time I told myself I was super scared to like do a coaching call with someone or something when I first started, like all of a sudden it would just create all this imposter syndrome, like you don't know what you're doing, maybe you don't have enough experience to like help somebody through this, blah, 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 blah. Even though those are not even true, it just stemmed from the thought of me telling myself I can't handle this. And because I told myself, oh my god, I'm nervous, I can't handle this, my brain went and found evidence that I can't. It tried to pull everything, well yeah, maybe you don't have experience in this way, this. But guess what? Once I told myself I was actually excited, I had a whole list of thoughts open up of reasons why I was excited. There's a million reasons why I'm excited. First of all, I get to talk about dreams and consciousness with other people around the world. I get to talk about the thing that helped me the most in my life and that I'm the most passionate about. Every single call that I have with somebody is not only going to be a learning experience for them, but also me as well. I'm obviously going to be better in my business having that experience than not. I mean, it opened up a whole world of reasons why I should do it, just because I changed the thought I was having that was generating the feeling in my body. It's a science, truly. This is all scientifically proven. We've been seeing how our thoughts contribute to our feelings and how our feelings are attached to our actions and how our actions contribute to our results. You know what that means? Our thoughts influence the results that we receive. Guess how those calls went? as soon as I told myself that I could handle it, and that I was excited, and that I was the person that was meant to do this, I felt that way. And I found proof all the fucking time that I was that way. And it's so cool. Like, I spent a ton of my life feeling unworthy, feeling anxious, feeling like the odd one out in my social groups and in school, junior high, like all throughout school. And after I graduated, that's when I really started to play around with this new identity that I wanted to build. How do I want to think? Who is the person that I see myself being in some reality, even if it seems super far away from where I'm at now, you know? And you guys would never recognize the person I was before. Even if you saw us next to each other, you wouldn't even think they were the same person. And it is possible to rewrite your story, to rewrite how you think about your story, and to rewrite who you are in the moment. And I promise you, if you put more of your attention on the present moment, who you are being right now, that's what manifests that version of you. There's no fucking way that you can just travel to the future and guarantee that version of yourself be there. And you just walk and immediately merge into that reality. If you don't learn the lessons that version of you knows, if you don't learn to think and feel and act like that person, you will not be able to maintain your desire or your manifestation when it actually comes to you, because you didn't cultivate and create the person who can not only attain it, but maintain that desire. So, and that's why a lot of people find, you know, their soulmates, for example, or their ideal relationships when they let go and say, you know what, I don't need that right now. I'm okay regardless. I'm just going to focus on what I need to work on to be that version that I see myself being. And once they go on that personal journey, then that person that they desire to be with meets them where they are, because you are creating the consciousness, the version of you that can actually step into that reality. It has nothing to do with going to try to find these opportunities or like to wrestle your way to fulfillment. I promise you, it's all an internal game. The external world is just what reflects the internal shit that you've done. Truly. The external world might as well not even exist. And it really doesn't. When they say it's a reflection, it's because of the glasses that you are wearing, based off the perceptions you have cultivated, based on the person that you choose to be. That's how you perceive the world. That's why everyone has their own reality, because the personality creates our personal reality, right? And since we are all so individual with that, we can all be in the same exact situation and have a totally different experience. So I promise you, you have nothing that you need to go search for to be successful. I promise you, it is all within who you are right now. And I promise you, your brain knows way more than you think. I had a funny situation a while ago during a call with my coach I'm working with. And there was some sort of thought where I was saying like I didn't know what to do next in my business to push me forward, or something around that thought. And it's so funny because I couldn't think of anything. And then she's like, well, what if you did know? Then what would it be? And guess what? My brain came up with it. So it's literally, your brain is like a search engine. It's all about how you type it in. So your brain is like Google. If you really want to find a specific result, you've got to be careful with the search terms you're using in that search engine. And so it was so interesting that a lot of the time we don't think we have the answers. We don't think that we have the knowledge or the experience to know what to do next. But I promise you, you do. And if your brain's saying you don't, just change how you're saying it to your brain. I promise you. And it was so mind-blowing. I notice those things all the time with doing like mind management work, and I promise you that's going to be the biggest work that's going to push you forward, because your brain will present to you everything that is standing in your way. You won't have to look for it. And how you do that is by getting clear on your goals and your desires. Because if you actually know what your goals and desires are, then your brain is going to come up with all of the limitations, all of the blocks, all of the things and reasons that it thinks that you can't achieve what you want. And guess what it just showed you? It just showed you all of your limiting beliefs. You didn't even have to search for. All you had to do was focus on what you actually want instead of what you don't want. And once you actually focus on what you want, then your brain brings everything up, everything that you can address to actually just easily remove those roadblocks. And I promise you, a lot of it is so much easier. Like even with building a website. I'm building my website right now, and every once in a while my brain will tell me, you don't have the information, you don't have enough knowledge to build this website. And I think it's so funny because I've built several websites back when I did like online business management work for people. And it's like, I have evidence that I have the knowledge to build this website. And I showed my brain that, and it completely dissolved, and the process of building my website has been easier than ever. We literally can shift in the moment. We can shift our experience in the moment. I promise. It's so crazy. I literally never get used to it. Because the brain thinks like it's so sure and it's facts, you know, and it's like we take it so seriously when literally the brain is like a little scared child that hasn't even like made it to 12 years old yet. Like that's who we're listening to. That's who we're fearing in our mind. And again, there's a few power words or power phrases that help me that literally, and I learned something else. You want to know why this works too. So you might be familiar with the prefrontal cortex. We talk about this with lucid dreaming. The prefrontal cortex is associated with our sense of self and our critical thinking. When we become lucid, that's the part of our brain that turns on. That's what allows us to get lucid, is that prefrontal cortex turning on. When we interrupt a negative thought pattern, and again, we can do that by Mel Robbins does the 5-second rule, and it's counting down from 5 to 1. That allows you to turn back on your prefrontal cortex, take conscious control of the situation, and change your thought instead of like going down the anxious loop or whatever. And so we just have to get used to activating this part of the brain more, this prefrontal cortex. Again, we talk about it all the time with dreamwork. But it actually is in control of your success too, your daily success, your success over the months, years, whatever it may be, because it allows you to take conscious action in the moment to be who you desire to be. So again, if you ever notice yourself maybe struggling to get out of bed, right? You turned off your alarm, you've got back in bed, maybe you're feeling anxious, maybe you are just sitting in bed scrolling through your phone, maybe you notice you're just going through this like anxiety thought loop. You can count down from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it gives you a bracket of time where you can actually make a conscious decision to interrupt the pattern that was happening and take control. Again, this could be with your thought, it could be just to finally get you out of bed in the morning. Counting down from 5 is a pattern interrupt and allows you to take that conscious control. And so play with that as well. If you notice yourself going down this anxious like thought loop about why you can't accomplish this or that, first of all, say, I can handle this. Just watch how it feels. After you count down from 5, tell yourself, I can handle this. I can actually handle anything that makes its way to me, and I have before, all the way up until now, and that's proof and evidence that I can handle anything that makes its way to me. And also, what if it not only works out, but it's way better than I could have ever imagined and hoped? What if what's coming to me is way more than I've actually been even trying to create? What if what's coming next shows me why I had to go through everything first so I could be the person who has this understanding to actually hold and enjoy my desire? If we're so caught up in fear and worry, guess what? When you actually get your desire, you're not going to be able to enjoy it. Your brain is just going to find the next thing to attach on. Like for example, if you've been praying to make $5,000 a month, eventually that $5,000 a month is going to feel normal, and your brain's going to be freaking out because it's not making $7,000 a month. There's not actually anything going wrong. Your brain is always just on the lookout to find things going wrong because it's trying to keep you safe. But as soon as you see those things as actual things that's gone wrong, that's when it starts to create this anxiety cycle, and the brain's like, oh shit, really? Okay, well, let's try to avoid that then. And then we notice this constant overthinking, this constant worrying, when there was never a problem in the first place. Again, this work, it's simple. It's not easy, it's simple, because what we have to do, obviously it's a lot more simple than we allow ourselves to believe. But your brain is going to fight you back for a little bit. And I promise you, it will get easier and easier and easier. You just need to find your power words. Again, for me, what if everything works out? What if everything works out beyond what I could have ever predicted? That's something that really helps me feel good inside. It immediately switches me out of anxiety and worry and puts me in excitement. It puts me in this positive anticipation. And then it helps me to start dreaming bigger as well. one thing I've also been doing is every single night as I'm falling asleep, and this is actually what I did to get me here to Washington. Every single night I would just imagine falling asleep and feeling like I was in Washington. It's almost like the astral projection technique that I talked to you guys about, the target technique, where you just imagine yourself actually standing or lying in another area of the room. Well, I would do that with this house. While I was in Utah, I would imagine myself falling asleep in Washington. I'd imagine literally feeling myself shift in Washington. Maybe for a couple of seconds sometimes, you could literally feel like you were in different walls around you. It was like this cool shift. I don't know, dude. It was trippy. It happens sometimes, even during meditation and stuff. And again, if you've done this technique with out-of-body experiences, it's kind of the same thing, where for a split second you actually feel like you're there. I did that over and over with Washington until it started to feel so natural, where I could walk myself through the entire house in consciousness. And I would go through all the little things I was doing, like watering the garden, doing the dishes, cleaning the bathrooms. I'd walk myself through all the mundane things, all the exciting things in this reality, just really create it in a realistic way. You can do that with the person that you are being and literally walk yourself through your entire day in consciousness as you're falling asleep. And it's so fucking crazy, dude, because it bridges the gap between that version of you and where you are now. It makes it not feel so far away at all anymore. It's like so cool, dude. And it really helps you start to get clear on your morals, like what even means a lot to you, like what are the priorities of this reality that you're creating. It really helps you dream big. It's so cool. And I have a little challenge for you, because I would love to see what comes up, and it's really going to push your brain. And again, this is going to help you expand your idea of what's possible, and that's going to expand what you allow yourself to receive, and it's going to help you gain more clarity on where you want to get to in life. So this is what I want you to do. Before bed is easiest, because I found that we kind of have the time to daydream a little before bed, hopefully a little bit. So I just want you to ask yourself what the best possible outcome for your life looks like in every area of your life. And I want you to get very specific. I want you to talk it through with yourself. In relationships, like in friendships, what is like the best possible outcome? Like in that dream world, like what do your friendships and relationships look like? Who are you in those friendships and relationships? Like, tell me how that plays out. Tell me how you feel. Tell me the thoughts that you have or the things you talk about with those friends in that reality. Like, get super clear. Now, about your business or how you make your money. Like, what's the best possible scenario for you? And again, we can all say, oh, win the lottery, but winning the lottery actually isn't very stable at all. It's not something that you can grow on. I guarantee you, in your best possible scenario, you'd probably prefer that you have like even an automated online business that works for you, so that you're constantly generating wealth for your entire life and for your family. That's much better than winning the lottery, right? It's totally different scenario, like a totally different situation, but there's one that has more of an evergreen security to it, or a way that you can also grow it. You know, that's another beautiful thing about online businesses, is your abundance isn't capped. There's a billion ways to monetize your passions, your creativity, your interests. And so that's what I say about thinking about this deeper. Don't just be like, oh, well, you know, I'd love $1 million to show up on my front door. I want you to walk me through your most ideal desired reality. If you were the person that could have this reality, that could not only attain it, but maintain this reality, I want you to tell me what that looks like. I want you to feel your way through it. What are the 3 top emotions that you feel in that reality? Like, what are the top things that you tell yourself? What are your biggest hobbies and interests? How do you start your day? What are the clothes you wear? What are the foods you eat? Like, I promise you, the more clear you can get on that version of yourself and that reality, you will start to become that version of you, because you've finally given your brain clarity on where you want to get to. It's going to be very hard to make these changes if your brain brain doesn't know what it looks like. It's not going to know like where you are and where that version of yourself is. It's just going to know that you want to do better. Okay, what does that look like? That's what I mean by like talking to your brain like it's an algorithm or like it's a search engine. We can't just be like, okay, I want you to do better. It's not going to know what the hell that means. I promise you, it's not going to know what that means. Okay, guys, by the way, I'm trying to, I guess no matter what, I'm going to have to use these stakes again. So I guess let me just try to put these stakes in. It like kept falling over outside over and over and over, and I'm like, okay, girl, it's gonna be just fine. Okay. Anyways, hope I haven't been ranting too terribly much. Okay, this is, oh my god, I love her. That is so adorable. Okay. Okay, I kind of want to put, it doesn't need more worm poop, but it needs to be taller. I know. This is pine bark, and it's kind of like mulch, so it should kind of help keep pests off it, number one, and keep it more moist under there. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm very excited. What's cool about this one is she is going to have like lavender flowers. And so they bloom like late summer, early fall or something. Oh my god. Okay, I love this pot so much. Okay. Hello, I'm gonna wash my hands here. So we're gonna put you here. And yes, I haven't been able to read any of the your guys' comments. I'm so sorry. I saw when people were chatting, but it was so far away that I couldn't really read it. So I'm going to try to catch up. Okay. Great, now we can go put her back outside. I'll take you guys with me to go do that. Okay. I might need to set you guys down while I go get her at least. Okay, 1 second. Yay, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay. I can't see. Okay. What? Okay, wow. Okay, here's my, I really need to repot this one too. This is a strawberry. It's a white and red strawberries. And then I have my blueberries. So cute. Anyway. Okay. Okay, now, let me try to read. Okay, I wish that I could see these on a bigger screen. Thanks for all hanging out with me, oh my gosh. And by the way, guys, if there's any of you who aren't in the Telegram chat, please feel free to join there, because I would love to be able to answer your guys' questions that I don't get to right here. Oh yeah, look, you see it? I was like, what is that? See, that's the leaf that got stuck on me. Okay, let me see. John said, what if the feelings are about things that you consider negative? Example being the people outside chanting negative things, and making salutes you disagree with. So when it comes to things that you consider negative, it's to release your attachment or the meaning that you were giving it. So for example, if someone is doing something that you disagree with and it's triggering you or upsetting you, first of all, I ask myself, what am I making this mean about me? Because really what people spend their time doing has nothing to do with us, and our ability to detach from our preferences and judgments is what's going to allow us to experience peace in every single moment. There are going to be things that people say that we don't agree with. There are going to be things that people say to us that offend us. And it's okay to have this come up, these triggers to come up, because they're not your triggers. You're the one witnessing them. And so really you're holding space for those same things. You'll do it in the same exact way. You're going to hold space for the feelings that you have about that situation, whatever they are doing, right? You're going to allow yourself to feel the feelings. You're going to really look at why it upsets you so much. What are you making it mean about you? Potentially, right? These are just all questions that we're asking our brain to see what comes up. And then choosing a better thought that creates a better feeling in the body. Because again, what other people do, we have no control over. And the biggest way to feel peace and fulfillment is by separating from our preferences and judgments. Because our brain is going to have tons of things that it would prefer in order for us to feel okay inside, right? We'd prefer for this person not to do that because it would be better for everybody, but it would also make us feel better inside. But part of this experience is detaching from those preferences or those judgments. Let's see, how long does it take for limiting beliefs to change? So it really depends on how much you work with it and how instilled that belief is. I promise you, if you work with it every single day and you give space for your thoughts and you write out those thoughts and you truly hold space for your feelings, it can change way quicker than you believe. We don't realize how much we're actually instilling these negative thoughts or feelings, and it's either a thought that we are allowing to think over and over in the present moment, or it's because we're not fully allowing what's coming up in the moment to come up, if that makes sense. Oh, how to stop being a people pleaser. I have a hard time with this. So what I would do with that is set up boundaries for yourself. What makes you feel safe in your relationships and your friendships? What are your personal boundaries? So that's going to help keep you safe in situations with other people, because you're going to be able to refer back to your boundaries that you set up. When recovering from being a people pleaser, it's really about feeling safe and feeling liked and understood in other groups. So because a lot of it revolves around safety, you want to find ways to create your own safety. And by doing that is setting up boundaries for yourself and non-negotiables. What are things that are non-negotiable in your relationship? So things that are things that you require in your friendships, relationships, whatever it may be. And then the work is just practicing honoring those. And one thing I had to recover from is saying no, getting used to saying no to things. And obviously we can be nice about it, but just declining offers that weren't meant for me or that I don't want to do. And again, you want to ask why you're choosing not to do something. If it's out of fear, but you know it would expand you, then of course I recommend doing it. But if it's creating an uncomfortable feeling in the body, if you're around people who do not respect you, if you do not feel welcome or safe, then it is up to you to be able to keep your inner child safe. Because I promise you, if you can honor your own boundaries, you're going to create more trust in yourself, which is going to create more confidence in yourself to not only honor your boundaries, but actually go for the things you want to go for in life. It all starts with boundaries and honoring your non-negotiables in your friendships and in your relationships, if that makes sense. Okay, let's see. The woodworker in me is screaming when you turn the pot and scratch the table. I know. Well, guess what? Oh wait, did I do it on the table? Oh yeah, I did a little bit on the table. I thought I did it in the little, in the thing. It's okay, it's not scratched, I promise you. It's okay. But it is very dirty though. Oops. That gave me an idea. I'm going to write an autobiography, if you will, of my best life, how everything turns out and looks like a diary. Exactly, Tiffany! Exactly. That is what I recommend doing. I did that all the time. By the way, you can kind of see this little don't question that. I promise you that's not my skin. I have a little acne cover thing on. I was like, what is that shiny thing? That's exactly what you should do, is you should write your ideal life on your paper. And I do that all the time because your desires are constantly going to change. The more you learn about yourself, the more you learn about what means a lot to you, the more you expand your desires and how you see your life is going to change. And so I recommend coming back to this, writing it down, really reading through it and feeling the feelings of actually being there, and name the feelings. Just like we want to name our feelings when we're processing heavy emotion, we want to get used to naming our feelings when we are feeling a positive emotion, when we are feeling that expansion, when we feel that abundance. So I cried a little bit. There was something I need to let go. Yes, and just allow space to feel exactly how you feel. There's nothing wrong with how you feel at all. Like, everything that we feel is completely normal. And by giving ourselves that space, by giving ourselves that grace and that patience, we're gonna feel safe enough to feel in our own presence. And I promise you, you will not only get way better at feeling your emotions and feeling your feelings, but you'll be able to more easily recognize when a feeling comes up and what it's telling you. So it creates this really beautiful intuition in the body. Right, sorry, I'm scrolling through. Just scrolling through. What's up, Jigs? Thanks for subscribing. What is up? IRS is scary until you realize they're just another minimum wage government worker there to do a job and be helpful. Exactly. So it's really just rewriting the thoughts that we have about our experiences, right? Like, because again, how the things that we think and the things that we feel are just based off what our brain thinks is going to happen based off what's happened before. But as you know, every single day is completely different. Not every single day is the exact same. So it'd be impossible to completely experience the exact situation that we experienced before. Let's see. Oh, what's up, Shelby? How's it going? What is up? Autistic and visually impaired, so I think writing would be easier for me, and then converting the story into an audio file to listen over and over. Yes, Tiffany, that is such a powerful tool, because hearing it in your own voice, that is even more powerful to your brain, because it recognizes it as your voice and it changes your brain in a way where it sees it as already having happened. Does that make sense? It's the same reason why, like, if we show gratitude for our desires before we actually experience them, then our brain's like, oh shit, did we actually make it already? So by being in that gratitude, by using your own voice to affirm the life that you are creating for yourself in the present moment, like, record it as if you are walking yourself or walking someone else through your current day. Like, I wake up in the morning and I do this and this, and I feel this. Like, really bring it to life with your senses. And I promise you, that'll be so powerful to listen to, because it's like a self-hypnosis, right? That is so cool. And the same thing with affirmations. You know, recording those in your voice and listening to them will be more powerful than just listening to someone else's voice, right? John, now you made me worried. I don't know if you're here, but you made me worried about my table. I didn't think about, okay. Everything's totally fine. I'm just gonna make sure that I didn't scratch my table, because I just got it, and I was gonna do it outside, but I really wanted you guys to be able to see me. I hope it wasn't too difficult to watch me do that. Oh, we're fine. Look at this shit. Look at that. We're fine. Oh, you see that? Looks like a little looks like a bear. You see that? The eyes has one, a little eyebrow, the little nose. No? Okay. Just me. Explain, Victor. I saw that previous message. Sorry, I didn't get to it. Fever dream. Tell me your experience. I swear to God, I'm like dreaming like more than halfway through the day. And it is like, I will catch myself in a daydream when I'm doing something, or it is so weird. I don't know. I feel like I'm constantly shifting to other dimensions or something. But tell me your experience. Victor, with that. What is even the definition of a fever dream? Yeah, I want to know. Is it actual dreams you have when you're sick? I really don't know. Oops. I have an even better idea. I don't even need to write it. I can just make voice recordings instead. There we go. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was just like, not particularly. Maybe when I was a lot younger. I had a lot of I don't know, I was sick a lot as a kid, and I had a ton of like night terrors and stuff. Maybe there was a correlation there. I didn't even really consider that. But yes, Tiffany, definitely let me know how that goes. The cool thing with writing too, and you can do that with listening to your voice, but writing puts you into the theta state, and so it opens up your subconscious mind. And so what we write down, our brain is a lot more accepting of that information. And again, this also works with saying things out loud. We just want to monitor the emotion that we are in while repeating these things, because the way to create even a memory in the body is by tying an experience with an emotion. And so when you are repeating these phrases to yourself, when you are closing your eyes and listening to your voice speak these things, like, be in the most fulfilled space in your ideal reality in consciousness. If you can shift your consciousness and assume whatever state you wish to assume through your consciousness, you are going to experience complete magic. I'm telling you. Like, and we didn't even see the house before we got it, mind you. Like, when we moved up here is when we saw it for the first time. And I'm telling you, I daydreamed every single thing, like every single turn to get to our house, how the sunlight was going to hit the house at different parts of the day, how our neighbors were going to be, like every single I daydreamed taking out the garbages to the curb, like every little exciting and mundane thing in my environment I imagined, and in consciousness I just and again, I would be there so strongly in consciousness that for a split second, my brain would forget that it's actually just an imagination. And that's how we literally create a new reality, is by literally making it a reality in consciousness. Let me see. You're sick with fever, hot, boiling, in trouble to sleep in your dream. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I just wanted to make sure that I got it right. I haven't since I was a kid, honestly. I haven't even been that type of sick since I was a kid, really. Most of the stuff growing up for me was like digestion related, or like belly sick, or yeah, I haven't even had like fever symptoms or anything like that since I was a child, but that's when I experienced a lot of my nightmares. My brother, he experienced night terrors growing up, so that probably also influenced it. But no, I haven't experienced anything like that for a very long time. I feel self-conscious about my voice. I need to love it. Start telling yourself that you love it. That's the thing. If you tell yourself that you're self-conscious about your voice, which totally, I get it. And that was my thing at first too. I also hated seeing myself on camera, and so that was a big thing I had to get over. But if you tell yourself that you're subconscious of your voice, again, your brain is going to look for evidence that that's true, and you're going to find more and more and more reasons that you don't like your voice. It's kind of like, isn't it so weird? Like, how we manifest is actually backwards from how we've been taught. It's just like anxiety when you don't want to feel it. Be like, come on, anxiety, I love this. I love this. This is exactly how I want it. I want to feel this. It goes away. So you're going to start telling yourself that you love your voice. That you love your voice. And you're going to look for evidence and reasons why you love your voice. And write them down. Like, really, maybe one reason a day you can write down why you love your voice for a week or something. And you're going to notice, like, you start to have more and more reasons that you love your voice. It's kind of like with gratitude, where we are trying to practice gratitude in order to be in the state of receiving. Yes, exactly, girl. You have a beautiful voice. We want to be, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. That's okay. That's okay. I wonder how many thoughts I have a day. I know we have like 65 to 70,000 thoughts, but I swear to God, I have more. And while I'm talking, my brain's also processing like my next sentences. Victor, no, take it back. Take it back. Anyway, girl, I kind of have like a raspy voice, sort of. And people used to mention that to me. And I guess for a little bit, like in school, I was kind of self-conscious about it, but I was self-conscious about everything. I was self-conscious about the beauty mark by my eye. I was self-conscious about the space between my teeth. I was self-conscious about the hairstyles I had to have as a kid, my voice, how tall I was, like everything, and those things aren't going to go, like our soul lives here. How special is that our soul gets to live here? And the work that our soul has to do in this experience has nothing to do with the vessel that it comes in. And so our best choice, really, our best option is to love and support this body just like it loves and supports us. It gets up every single day to make sure that your heart is beating, that you're able to breathe. Think about all of the pieces of your body that help you like stay alive, let alone thrive, And so like learning to cultivate more love and acceptance for yourself. And I tell you, like, I couldn't even look in the mirror before. Like growing up, and my mom used to try to get me to do mirror work and tell myself that I love myself, and I would just cry even thinking about saying that. It was like so painful. I just like, and this is, again, it's a practice, just like everything we do here. It's truly a practice. And one thing you can do, Mel Robbins is awesome. She's one of my favorite coaches to listen to, and she came up with something called the high five habit. And the high five habit seems a little bit silly, right? But think about the energy behind a high five when someone gives you a high five. When someone gives you a high five, it is because you achieved something. They're proud of you. They're grateful for you because you did a great job, because you killed it. Like, think about the energy behind someone giving you a high five. Now, if you can make this little thing a habit, it takes literally 1 second, but it will start to literally change your life and how you look and see yourself. Every single morning, you wake up, and before you leave the bathroom, you're gonna high five the mirror. Yep, that is right. You're gonna high five the mirror. And if you really want to take it a step further, you're gonna say something really empowering to yourself. Like, I'm telling you, it'll feel silly at first. You'll feel weird. You'll like kind of be shy about it. But I promise you, it really works. I felt super weird about it too, and I was just kind of like shy at first, but like I started to realize that every single day, that's the first like bit of momentum that I get to build in my day. It's like choosing to witness and see myself and start off my day with already appreciating myself. And so I started to do this high five habit thing, and holy shit, it actually really does build this, and you look forward to it. It's weird, like how it affects your brain when you high five yourself in the mirror. It affects your brain in the exact same way as someone else high fiving you and showing you celebration, showing you love, like congratulating you. It affects your brain in the exact same way. In fact, it's actually more powerful if it comes from you. And so try practicing that. And again, if it feels uncomfortable, you're supposed to do it. If it feels uncomfortable, there's growth there. Follow the discomfort. Just like we want to follow our fears, because that's going to show us who we are on the other side of those fears. When you feel this discomfort doing this work, it is a sign there is something there for you, especially if your mind is resisting it. It's because there is something potent on the other side. So again, she also came up with the 5-second rule. So you can use those together, to interrupt that negative thought pattern, to finally get yourself up out of bed in the morning, to just get yourself to do the thing. Countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's going to activate that prefrontal cortex. It's going to give you the opportunity to now consciously make a decision to interrupt that pattern. Combining that with the high five habit, simple, and that's where people think it doesn't work, is because it is too easy. It takes such a little amount of time. But why do you think we don't do fucking half of our goals? Because they're too big. We've overfilled our capabilities of what we can actually accomplish, and then we beat ourselves up about it because we've created an impossible schedule or goal and we don't stick with it. So if this feels too easy, then allow yourself to stick with it and see what happens. I promise you, these little things are really the things that are going to move us forward the most. So high five habit and 5-second rule. I would love to hear about your guys' experiences with that. High five the mirror, but don't hit it too hard because I don't want to break it. Exactly. But just, bah, just like and plus I don't want to leave prints all over the mirror, so I and maybe that's something I'll have to get over, but just a quick little soft high five. Literally look yourself in the eyes and tell yourself something fucking awesome about what you're going to do today, or how amazing you are, who you're going to be today. Like, I promise you need to be your biggest hype man. And if you are your biggest hype man, again, that is retraining your brain to hype you up without you having to be involved. Just like it tells you bullshit that's not true without you being involved, you can train it to be in the game and to show up for you as your biggest supporter without you having to consciously do it. I hope that makes sense. Guys. Yes, anyone else doing wild tonight? Would love to hear about that. Would love to hear about what other techniques you guys are doing too. I'll just say I love you when I look in the mirror brushing my teeth in the morning. Yes, 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 yes. Be your own wingman, be your own hype man, dude. Oh, hell yes. Hell yes, that's what it's about. I love that I can hear Gino playing now because I'll just hear like absolute chaos happening on the ceiling. That's my sign. He's having a good time. But yes, and all of this work really goes perfectly with dreamwork because, like, that's why I love using these together, because dreamwork can show us what we haven't been able to see. It can show us archetypes that are showing up for us. It could show us unprocessed emotions. It could show us current fears that we're working with. And then we can take what the subconscious mind shows us within the dream state and do the conscious work in the waking state. And then our next following dreams, we can see the changes and the impact from the work that we're doing. That's why I really love going all over the place on this channel with the things we talk about, because they're all connected. They're all perfectly intertwined. And I promise you, all of these little tools, all of these little techniques have a place in your practice where it can actually build momentum and move you forward. So find ways to explore this within the dream state. Find ways to meet your ideal self when you're lucid. That's another thing that I love to do. The more clear you are on your ideal self, on that version of yourself, the more easily you'll be able to visit that version in the lucid dream, because you've already created that personality. You've already created that identity. You've already envisioned what that version of you looks, feels, acts, and talks like. And so the subconscious mind is going to have a much easier time actually creating that archetype for you to speak with. And I promise you, if you can get lucid and manifest your ideal self and have the chance to ask them all these different questions about how they got to where they are and this and this and that, I'm telling you, there's just infinite magic to be found within you of who you are already capable of being. And the dream shows you that. The dream shows you that. It shows you that you don't have to try to cultivate this version of yourself. You just have to uncover it. You just have to let it out. That's all that it is. Also, I guess the lighting isn't here quite yet, but the lighting comes through this window in such a beautiful way, and it's so pretty. I repotted some of my plants, so I'm just going to show you some of them. This one's a string of turtles because it looks like they have little turtle shells. It's not doing very well right now. I had to repot him. Here they're called jellyfish, or not jellyfish. They're called jelly bean plants because they look like little jelly beans. I'm on my tiptoes. Trying to show you. Okay. Oh yes. You can't forget this guy. This guy is called String of Buttons, and he's super adorable. He's variegated, so that means he has white and green. and I love him. He's so very cute. All right. All right, let me turn that around. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that the plant thing wasn't too chaotic and like not fun to watch. I just realized that I like repotted all of my plants, and then I was like, oh shit, that might have been fun to watch. I don't know. The next one we're gonna do, you guys are gonna help me build a terrarium because I have to save my dying terrarium. I will show you. So when I get paid, I'm gonna get a new terrarium, and we're basically gonna save this moss. We're gonna cut out this moss from the dying moss, and then this creeping fig. It's meant to just be super viney and grow out, but it got so big I had to just start shutting it in. But we're basically gonna save this little guy. And with terrariums, you do a lot of different layers because it doesn't have obviously a drainage hole or anything. And because we're in Washington, we're so surrounded by moss that, bitch, we're gonna be able to fucking make the coolest little moss terrariums. We're also gonna put him in one too. But that's our next plant project. If that's something you guys care about, you know, I'm just trying to bring you along for all of the things. The yellow sphere. Are you talking to me? What yellow sphere? I know. I know. What the heck? Oh yes, I gotta show you guys the front door. It's okay, Juno. He's like, where are we going? Okay. This one's my spider plant. He's doing good. And then I have this little succulent who's having some babes. And then lots of bamboo that I don't know what to do with. That's just growing. Because they all keep having babies, so I just keep cutting them. And if you guys lived near me, I'd be bringing you guys plants all the time. I'd definitely need some help with all the babies that are being created. Fun to watch videos on them. I know, right? I wish I could remember the name of the channel that I watch, but it's some dude in the UK and he's super entertaining to watch his terrarium videos. The yellow sphere at the window by the plants. Oh, those are just, they're solar powered lotus flowers. So they're just, yeah, solar power. All right, cool. I can't talk at all. Solar flowered flower plants. That's what it is. Anyway, yeah. I think that's all my plants to show you for now. I hope it wasn't too boring. Okay, could you please explain sleep paralysis? I'm gonna give you guys a basic breakdown because I know we talk about sleep paralysis a lot and I don't want to bore you guys, but I know there's some people new here that and everyone experienced sleep paralysis first of all, so I think it's good to talk about. Okay. Sleep paralysis is something we experience 4 to 5 times a night. It's a part of REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. And this is a stage of sleep where we experience our dreams, we experience sleep paralysis, and again, we go through this every 90 minutes or so of our sleeping cycle. Sleep paralysis, basically the reason why we experience muscular paralysis is because it is our body's protection mechanism to prevent us from acting out our dreams physically. But if we wake up during the sleep paralysis process, that means that our body is awake our body is asleep while our mind is awake. And this allows us to observe the body during its sleeping cycle, which there's going to be some things that we notice. First of all, we may feel more cold because when we're in sleep paralysis, when we're sleeping, our body temperature drops. So if you wake up in sleep paralysis, that is maybe something you'll notice. Again, you'll also notice the muscular paralysis. Oh, hey! And that, again, that's just a protection mechanism to prevent you from acting out your dreams. and then you will feel maybe a heaviness on your chest. And this is where a lot of people get freaked out, and it's really just because when we are asleep, our diaphragm naturally collapses because we don't need to take in as much oxygen. We breathe much more light when we're sleeping. And if you wake up during that process, you could think that you are suffocating or you can't breathe or someone's holding you down, but I promise you it's just because the brain woke up during an unconscious process and is trying to figure out what's happening. But because when we wake up in sleep paralysis, we're half awake, half dreaming, because we're in REM dreaming sleep, but our mind is partially awake, it is possible to dream in our physical environment. So you will see parts of your dreams literally in your physical environment if you happen to open your eyes. I've never opened my eyes during sleep paralysis because I don't want to mess it up. I'm like, oh my God, I want to stay here as long as possible and just like keep continuing sleep paralysis. So I've never done that, but there are lots of sensations and auditory things that you may hear. And again, this is all just part of being half awake, half asleep, but sleep paralysis is a great gateway for lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences. And we can learn to induce it to have those experiences. How'd I do? How did I do? I hope that that was a good explanation. Aren't the dreams from sleep paralysis like the best lucid dreams to have since it's so vivid? So basically all of our lucid dreams happen during REM sleep. So our body's in sleep paralysis anyway. So if you notice you're in sleep paralysis, then that would be a great time to induce lucid dreams or to practice wild. And if you ever catch yourself in sleep paralysis consciously, you can just go right into a wild technique. Because it shows that you are in the right state of consciousness because your body is asleep. And that's part of the difficult part of people achieving wild and stuff like that, is actually getting their body asleep. So if you wake up in sleep paralysis anyways, it's a perfect time to practice a wild or a out-of-body technique. I have worm poop under my nails. It's fine. Anyway, yeah, I hope that coffee is calling. My coffee is calling? Oh my God, thank you for letting me know. Where's my coffee? Okay. I was like, I know I brought my coffee, and then I got sad because I couldn't find it. You're so welcome. Cheers. I got a cute mug, and I'm having blueberry coffee. Could you guys guess? For those of you who don't know, I'm like a blueberry freak, which I'm sure you guys know by now because I talk about it all the time. Oh, thank you, Eric. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's been so fun. Oh my gosh. Let me see what it's like out here now that the sun's finally going down. Can you see anything? Oh, no, I really do want to show you guys some of the squirrels. We have a lot of squirrels that kind of are hanging out on the fence. And one cool thing, I hate that that's so noticeable. One other cool thing, it's too loud. One cool thing is we have so many crows around here, so many birds, so many squirrels, that I am getting into building friendships with the animals outside. So I will take you guys along for the journey as I figure out how to befriend all the animals around me. I have several squirrel friends, I have some crows that want to hang out, and I need to get some supplies. So when I do that, we're gonna start luring in some friends to hang out and befriending nature. Anyways, I will bring you along for that when that time comes. I'm way too scared of sleep paralysis. I totally get it. It's such a freaky feeling. Like, it has like an eerie feeling to it. And because it feels so otherworldly, like just the way that it feels to be in sleep paralysis, you feel so disconnected from who we believed that we are, right? Like our identity. This is who we associate everything with. You know, who are we without our physical body? You know, we like freak out only because it's unfamiliar being something outside of this who we thought we were. And I think that's a lot of why sleep paralysis and out-of-body experiences and stuff can scare people. It's because like you experience just complete pure consciousness. Like it is shed from your physical self. like you are experiencing a part of yourself that we do not get to interact with. And I think that unknown creates a lot of fear for me. I think it was just how intense the sensations were that caused me to like feel stuck in sleep paralysis. It's like such a physical feeling sometimes that I'd be like, holy fucking shit, dude, what the hell? This is so crazy. And it would just be like almost too intense to concentrate. But I promise you it's not scary at all. The reason why your brain is feeling scared. And hey, maybe this would be a good journal opportunity, because we're talking about writing our fears out. By the way, all these personal development tools, you can use this in your dream work to overcome your fears, to overcome your blocks or your limitations. If you ever get stuck within the out-of-body experience, like when you're trying to induce an experience, you can write out, you know, some of the limitations you feel like are coming up and actually use these tools to work through them. So yeah, you'll have to write out the reasons why you're scared of sleep paralysis. Just write out all the fears that are coming up. That will allow you to create a lot more clarity on what the fears actually are. And then again, not only can you choose new thoughts, but you can address the fears that your brain is bringing up. And I promise you, when you address them, when you see them, when you work with them, they will be way less of an issue in the upcoming experiences that you have. So that's something cool. Is, yeah, all the mind management work and stuff that we talk about on this channel can all be applied to dream work and stuff too. So, all right, well, I guess that's all today. I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful day. Happy Monday. I hope that it was a very relaxing day stream for you. And before we go, I just want to show you my last plants. All right, everyone. Thank you for your time today. I love you. I will see you next Monday. And by the way, I'm getting back into the podcast. I'm going to record the next podcast episode tomorrow, and I will be releasing weekly little videos each week as well. So lots of content coming, and I'm very excited. Okay, love you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.